You're watching ABC 10 Plus tonight.
Hello, I'm Laura Painter. You're watching ABC 10 Plus tonight. We are catching up with Sacramento firefighters and first responders following their return to the area after fighting the handful of fires in LA County. Then we're breaking down the controversial Trump administration freeze on federal grants and loans. This after a federal judge temporarily blocks the move. ABC 10 Plus tonight starts now.
We start tonight with the new Donald Trump administration. The White House sparked outrage after announcing plans to block most federal loans and grants.
But moments ago, the move that could drastically affect thousands of programs was blocked. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the details from Washington.
Within minutes before it was set to take effect, today a federal judge temporarily blocked a White House memo that would have halted billions of dollars in federal grants. Several groups, including some states' attorneys general, filed lawsuits saying the White House's move was unconstitutional.
Not only does this administration's new policy put people at risk, but it is plainly unconstitutional.
In a memo, the Office of Management and Budget orders agencies to identify and review all federal financial assistance programs to ensure any grants are consistent with the president's executive orders around topics like non-governmental organizations, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and foreign aid.
The American people elected President Trump to be the president of the United States and gave him a mandate to increase the impact of every federal dollar.
The memo gives little guidance on what programs need to be suspended, short of carving out exceptions for Medicare and Social Security benefits, plus assistance provided directly to individuals. But nonprofits like Meals on Wheels distribute to individuals, and today said the memo is creating chaos, adding the seniors it serves will panic not knowing where their next meals will come from. And on federal payment processing websites today, multiple state agencies are reporting error messages like this, warning of delays and or rejections of payments. A group of states' attorneys general have filed a lawsuit to block the directive, calling it unconstitutional. Democratic leaders and some Republicans pushing back.
All I can say right now, I hope it's short-lived, and there's no reason for the disruption.
The federal judge blocked the policy from taking effect until Monday, February 3rd. A hearing is scheduled for that morning. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
There could be a lot at stake here, but there also still are a lot of unknowns about this order. So I want to go ahead and bring in ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen. She's been working on this story all day, trying to really track down those local impacts. That's our biggest question, right?
Right, Alex. And just to name a few places that I talked to today, some nonprofit organizations like Planned Parenthood, law enforcement officials like Sacramento Police, Sacramento County Supervisor Patrick Kennedy in regards to housing projects, the Sacramento City Unified School District about school lunch concerns, and many of the responses that I got today was that it's still too early to tell just how this executive order will directly impact each department or organization. Now, even members of Congress tasked with securing funding are unsure of what will happen next. Today, I spoke with Congressman Ami Bera, who represents the Sacramento region. Here's a bit of our conversation.
How are you concerned with Trump's EO today impacting the continuing flow of federal funds coming into our state?
Yeah, so California relies heavily on federal funds. We actually send more state dollars to the federal government than we get back. But important transportation projects, we've gotten tens of millions of dollars for the airports here in Sacramento. Are those dollars going to come to us? Road projects, and then simple things like student aid, things like that we've been getting calls in our office on. Again, this order could have broad impact all across this state, all across this country.
You as a member of Congress, what do you do usually to try and get federal funding for our state?
So my job is to go out there and advocate on behalf of Sacramento County, our constituents, our region. So, as we put together infrastructure bills, as we put together, college funding, research funding, our job is to go out there and try to get those grants and those dollars. And the law does say, Congress passes the laws, appropriates the money, says where it should go. And then the president's job is to implement that. So we're going to fight the president on this. We think it's what he's doing in terms of impounding these dollars is illegal.
What's your message for people and organizations that heavily rely on federal funds?
The message that we've sent out to nonprofits here in our community, cities, counties, other agencies that get federal funding is, first, let us know how this is going to impact you. Then we will start reaching out. We'll reach out with our colleagues. It's not just going to be limited to Democrats. So Republican members of Congress, their districts are going to get impacted as well. hopefully we can get the president to understand that this is going to have broad impact, broad disruption. It's going to disrupt a lot of folks that voted for him, and he probably ought to roll this back.
The Sacramento Police Department has received federal grant money for some of their programs. Do you think this will impact law enforcement departments like Sacramento Police?
We always go after funding for law enforcement, for police, firefighters, and others. And there are federal components that allow them to do the hiring that they need. And at a time like this, especially when we're seeing the devastating fires in Southern California, this could have a real impact if those funds don't flow to the Sacramento Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, to our firefighters. It could have a bad impact.
What conversations are you having with the delegation right now regarding this?
So we've got an emergency phone call tomorrow. Individuals are talking, and then we always are communicating as a California delegation. So again, we're trying to get a real sense of what this impact is going to be, and also trying to work with our Republican colleagues to say this is going to impact your districts as well. Let's work together. Let's push back and try to get him to rescind this.
There's a lot of confusion right now. What do you have to say to the people watching who are confused about if whatever they're receiving might be stopped?
I mean, for the folks here in Sacramento County, we've sent out a broad email to stakeholders, nonprofits, cities, counties, others that rely on federal funding. We've asked them to stay in close contact with us. If they are seeing delays, report those to us so then we can actually try to go to the agency and make inquiries. But do reach out to your members of Congress. Do reach out to our office.
Now, in response to Trump's executive order today, the House GOP chairwoman Lisa McCain says Republicans are getting the country back on track, adding President Trump is right to call a temporary pause and that we need to re-examine our spending priorities. Alex.
All right, Jeannie, thank you. Still a lot of unknowns, but if you want to hear more from Congressman Bera's conversation with Jeannie and what California's Attorney General had to say about this executive order calling for a federal freeze, make sure you head to the Raw section of the ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app.
Sacramento firefighters are back home after helping in the recovery effort in LA County. The urban search and rescue team from Sacramento has also returned.
ABC 10's Devin Truby talked with the crew about their important mission helping families during this difficult time.
The Palisades fire erupting January 7th, burning more than 23,000 acres. The multiple fires in LA County prompted a statewide response, including Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 7 out of Sacramento.
We had 38 members from California Task Force 7 that were down there on this deployment. We brought 2 dogs.
Traveling with canines trained to search through the rubble for victims, like you see here in this training video. Captain Paul Januario says in his 20 years with the Sacramento Fire Department and 15 years with Urban Search and Rescue, he's been to earthquakes, hurricanes, and fires, but he's seen nothing like the destruction left behind in the Palisades fire.
It was a pretty historical event, especially on the fire sides. The sheer number of residences and homes that we saw that were lost was something that I've never personally seen.
His team searched through the rubble, sharing these photos of what they saw.
You watch it on TV and it's one thing. The drones or the helicopters doesn't do it justice.
Battalion Chief Scott Lewis has been training with USAR for 25 years. Their mission represented in the letters of the name, Search and Rescue. Sadly, this time the R stood for something else.
And that recovery assignment was important to a lot of people that needed to have closure in their life for the tragedy that happened that day.
A job he was proud to do.
The emotion doesn't really hit you until you meet the people that were affected. The people that came up afterwards while we were working that were affected, that wanted to just give us food, even though their house burned down.
The team hopes the city of Sacramento learns from this disaster, but also...
And having comfort knowing that if we were going through this similar tragedy, other firefighters from around the state would show up and support them in their time of need.
Reporting in Sacramento, Devin Truby, ABC 10.
And Devin, thank you for helping share their story, and we thank them so much for their service. Sacramento Fire also sent 2 of their crews who have now returned home. They spent 16 days battling the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire.
I want to bring in Monica now because you have a bit of good news for us. You're tracking some snow in the forecast, huh?
Oh, that is good news. Now, if anyone calls out sick tomorrow, I think I know where they're heading.
Oh, we heard some chatter of that in the newsroom. It will be all good for travel up into the high country, but we are expecting that big pattern change. Tomorrow, still lows near freezing, so we'll continue to see status quo through tomorrow and even into our Thursday as well. That big pattern change coming on Friday takes us all the way through the weekend with travel impacts for sure. Kind of fluctuating snow line up and down the hill. You know how that goes. It can be quite frustrating trying to time everything out. We actually need the rain. We have basically just plateaued in terms of putting rain in the rain bucket and snow in the Sierra. Started off with a great water year, November and December, and then January hit and everything dried out. Only 0.3 of an inch for the month so far, which is actually one of our wettest months statistically. We need to get things going once again. And that means we're going to continue to see some burn restrictions in place. Sacramento County, no burning unless exempt. And for San Joaquin Valley, no burning unless registered. That atmospheric river is going to start to stir things up a bit, kind of clean out the air. We've got a lot of wood smoke and that particulate matter staying very close to the surface. And it's no wonder, look at these lows. A lot of us trying to search for that heat source. 24 is where we started off this morning for Fairfield. 20s and 30s throughout the rest of the valley and the foothills. Only 9 degrees this morning for Truckee, 10 for South Lake Tahoe. Highs for today warmed into the 40s up top, 40s and 50s down low. So it was a beautiful afternoon for us with our big mountain backyard still showcasing temperatures in the 50s with clear skies. Tahoe currently clear and 35 degrees. Our sunset 5:24, so we're just 2 minutes away. In terms of our conditions for tomorrow, just a little bit more cloud cover. Lows start off in the 30s. Highs once again warming into the 50s to right around 60s. Just a little bit cooler as we're starting to transition into a different weather pattern here. Look at some of the weather model predictions in terms of the rainfall through Saturday. So Friday and Saturday combined, about a half an inch to an inch in the valley, closer to about an inch to over 2 inches of rain for the foothills. And then for the Sierra, right now about 1 to 10 inches of snow possible, but there's a lot of model inconsistency in terms of totals. So we'll look at just the general track of what's coming our way. And I will say this, stay very close to this forecast and the changes coming. All we know right now is there will be rain and snow, but the timing and the totals, there's still a high degree of uncertainty with that. You can see how things start to open up on Friday with rain kind of hugging that I-80 line. Rain and snow mix for the Sierra, so that means a lot of changes in the forecast and travel conditions as well. Highs for tomorrow in the 40s, 50s down low. We get to highs in the 50s along the coast. So overall, just a cooler weather pattern starting to take shape. This will be out ahead of the weather system that will open things up through the weekend with a mix of rain and snow for the Sierra. It's a rain event for the foothills and the coast. Here's a look at the 3-day forecast. We are dry Wednesday and Thursday. Run those errands. Enjoy the dry weather because once we get going for Friday through the weekend and into next week, it is all about the on and off rain.
I know we need the rain. You know, we certainly hadn't had much of it, but here we go, huh?
Here we go.
Yeah, land of extremes, flipping the switch, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, and turning now to the immigration crackdown. The Trump administration is ramping up its efforts with a surge in arrest of undocumented immigrants. Here's Rena Roy with the latest tonight.
Kristi Noem, the new Homeland Security Secretary, addressing her staff for the first time, sharing her vision for the next 4 years.
The world is a dangerous place, and we've got dangerous, evil foreign governments that want to take us down. We will be the first line of defense for anybody that's in the American homeland.
Noem was in New York City just hours before, alongside heavily armed federal agents and NYPD officers as they arrested dozens of undocumented migrants in the Bronx to be deported. Among them, 25-year-old Anderson Zambrano Pacheco, wanted in Aurora, Colorado, and New York for crimes including burglary, kidnapping, and extortion. Noem, the former governor of South Dakota, posting this message on X.
We're getting the dirtbags off these streets.
Mayor Eric Adams saying in a statement about the raids that he will not hesitate to partner with federal authorities to bring violent criminals to justice. Around the country, the White House ramping up immigration raids.
President Trump has sent a loud and clear message to the entire world. America will no longer tolerate illegal immigration.
ICE telling ABC News the agency is going after the, quote, worst first, targeting undocumented immigrants with criminal backgrounds. But they aren't stopping there. Anyone in the country illegally, convictions or not, could be detained or apprehended too.
We're getting them all out. we're getting them all out.
On Monday alone, nearly 1,200 undocumented migrants arrested, the highest daily number since Trump was sworn in. In some communities where undocumented immigrants work and pay taxes, growing fears of being deported. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson vowing to stand with them.
Regardless of who's in the White House, Chicago is a city that opens its arms to people from around the globe. We will continue to protect civil and human rights.
Both Mayor Johnson and Mayor Adams, along with the mayors of Boston and Denver, which are all sanctuary cities, have been called to testify on Capitol Hill about immigration enforcement.
The 14th Amendment of the Constitution says that everyone born in the U.S. is automatically an American citizen, regardless of their parents' legal status. President Trump is trying to unilaterally end that practice with an executive order issued on his first day in office. Within days, 22 different states sued to block the executive order, and a judge has already put it on hold while it's debated in court. Some critics of the order claim that it won't just impact the immigrants Trump is targeting, but also members of the president's own inner circle. They say that his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and the Second Lady, Usha Vance, would lose their citizenship because neither of their parents were citizens when they were born. Verify viewers wanted to know if the executive order could retroactively revoke citizenship. So let's verify. Our sources: the text of the order, the 14th Amendment, and the text of the court ruling. The executive order says, quote, "No department or agency of the United States government shall issue documents recognizing United States citizenship to anyone born in the U.S. if neither parent is a lawful permanent resident." But it also says that the rule, quote, "shall apply only to persons who are born within the United States after 30 days from the date of this order." The order was issued January 20th, so would only affect children born after February 19th, if it's upheld by the courts. So we can verify, no, Trump's birthright citizenship order would not retroactively revoke citizenship. Just 3 days after the order was issued, a federal judge issued a 14-day hold, calling Trump's action, quote, "blatantly unconstitutional." With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
A viral post shared across social media claims a single interaction with an AI chatbot like ChatGPT uses 10 times more energy than a simple Google search. Several viewers asked us to verify what impact AI has on energy usage. So let's verify. Our sources are the International Energy Agency, Google's 2024 Environmental Report, and the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign's Center for Secure Water. Doing anything on the internet, like streaming your favorite TV series, working remotely, or even a simple Google search, requires computing power from data centers. The more computer processing that's required, the more energy those data centers need to operate. And AI-based tasks require more computing power than tasks that don't. The International Energy Agency estimates an AI query using ChatGPT uses about 9 times more energy than a traditional non-AI search. AI doesn't only demand more power, it also needs more water. Data centers use water to keep computers cool. The more they're used, the hotter they get, which means more water is needed. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Did you know a world-famous drummer resides in Roseville, California?
I do, but only because I watched this in the 5 a.m. hour.
Okay, you had advance notice.
But Zoro has worked with the likes of Lenny Kravitz, Frankie Valli, and now he's speaking to our very own Marcus Allen in Roseville. So good morning, Mark. We are so excited to hear what he has for us there on the drums.
Not as excited as I am right now. I got to be honest with you. And Jordan, you're watching the 5, so you know I've been geeking out for about an hour now. You can't wait to kick me out because I've just been out here geeking on you, man.
No, this is awesome to be here. I'm honored.
You have no idea. When I moved up from SoCal, one of the first songs I played, I played this album, and specifically My Prerogative, Until the Needle Fell Off the Record. For you youngsters, Google what a needle and a record is, but everybody's talking all that. That song starts out, the very first thing you hear on the track of that are your first beats that you laid out.
Yeah, and I'm on the video. If you go Google the original Bobby Brown My Prerogative video, you'll see me there. I'm wearing these earrings that are so big they look like hula hoops. Right? This is 1989, so you'll have to forgive me.
You got some great style. I want to take take a look at your long and storied career. You have played to sold-out crowds, biggest arenas possible, all over the world. You played with Bobby Brown. You played with Lenny Kravitz, like a long list of people. How does the kid go from Compton to that?
I would say with the love of my mother, all of us are born dreamers, but a lot of times those dreams get crushed by life and by other people. But my mother taught me to dream, and I grew up in a single immigrant home. My mother was from Mexico City. We were abandoned by our fathers. So she raised 7 children alone with no help from anybody. So life was a big struggle, but my mother had strong faith, and she taught me to dream. And when I was 7 years old, I wanted to be like her because she always wore scarves and she always looked very beautiful.
Yeah, in fact, I want the producers go ahead and start rolling the video of the book because I want to talk about like Maria's scarf. Yeah. You've written these words and it talks about your story, but more importantly, this book is so inspirational for people who are stuck.
Yeah, the whole thing is the point of the story is that it's heartwarming, it's heartbreaking, it's absolutely hilarious, but it's filled with hope. So by the time you read the end of the book, you will be filled with the spirit of dreaming again, and you will believe that anything is possible, because my story is an overcoming story of epic proportions.
Absolutely. If we could come back to your life for a moment, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. Abandoned by his father at a young age, left with nothing but those bongo drums that you see back there. That's a symbol for, I guess your dad abandoned you, but he left you all you needed.
Yeah, it was there's a picture of me in my memoir in a stroller about 18 months, and beneath my feet are a set of bongos, and that was the only thing he literally left me, was a set of his bongos. But it's kind of a prophetic picture because I had no idea that I would become a drummer, and so it was sort of fate or destiny, but it was mostly through the power of my mother's love and her encouragement and her inspiration, and she did a lot of things to build inside of me this kid who dreamed. And I wrote down my visions and dreams when I was a kid, and in fact, the cover of the book, if you look real closely at the cover of the book, it's a piece of paper that I wrote when I was a kid with my childhood dreams that I wanted to become a world-renowned drummer, and I still have that piece of paper.
You're so inspirational. Got a chance to see this guy speak, see him live, get the book. His mom speaks through him and will speak to you too. It's amazing. In the meantime, I hope you don't mind. Can I just stay here for a little bit and geek out with you?
Let's do it.
Everybody's talking all this stuff about me. Why won't they just let me live? Okay, I'm done.
No.
John can't even hold the camera straight because he's laughing so hard.
I'm going to call Bobby to replace that vocal immediately. Mark's going to be on the track now.
Hey.
We'll fix it in editing, right? Marcus Allen knows all about that. We'll clean it up in post, as we like to say. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Zoro with 1 R. Okay. Thank you, Mark and Zoro as well. Great story.
Thank you so much for watching ABC 10 Plus tonight. We're here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere you stream. I'm Laura Painter. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Trust isn't given, but earned. It's built every day by doing the hard work, putting in the hours, doing the research, holding the powerful accountable, and being there when you need us most. Working hard to earn your trust every day, every newscast, every story. Watch weeknights at 6 or stream live on ABC10 Plus.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this.
Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.
Watch Mark S. Allen's new entertainment show, Take a Look. Stream anytime on ABC10 Plus.
This winter, let's hit the back roads as I explore California's best winter spots.
That's a lake trout.
From ice fishing to one of the biggest snow parks and even a romantic holiday gondola.
Buon Natale, Merry Christmas.
And all the winter fun in between.
What would you say is like the true meaning of Christmas?
Bartell's Backroads, California Hidden Winter Gems, streaming now on ABC10 Plus.
Hope to see you on the back roads.